I just ran from the hotel to Bob Evans across the street. Why? Because I'd rather pay $10 for a full meal here than my hotel back there. They saw me running across the street to get here, and she immediately sat me down and gave me some coffee. So I'm happy.
What would you like?
Can I get some hotcakes, buttermilk, and maybe some eggs on the side?
Sure. How many eggs?
2 scrambled eggs would be great.
Do you want any bacon or sausage?
No, but do you have home fries?
I do.
That would be great.
Okay.
Thank you
Is
so
that
much.
good?
Yeah, that's
My
perfect.
pleasure.
Thank you so much. What's your name?
Marcy.
Thank you, Marcy. Appreciate it. I forgot how nice everyone is in Ohio. Yeah. Everything's fucking frozen. Touch me, don't touch me, don't touch me, don't touch me, don't touch me. I made it. Oh my god, it's cold.
He has a blog himself.
Good junior career. What was it like to kind of see that transition and progression from being so young?
Well, it was obviously, it's a tough tour.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of good players out there. Unless you really have it together from a young age, it takes a while to get going. Obviously, I would have hoped that I got up a little faster and had some better results as a pro. I mean, first year out was pretty good. I went up to like 250, and it was a solid start, but had a few injuries that set me back, and obviously a few situations that put my game behind a little bit. I think maybe coaching-wise, had a few different viewpoints.
Gotcha.
And so a lot of changes happened that weren't necessarily for the best, and so it took me a while to kind of get going, and I feel like I'm on the right track now. I had a pretty good year in 2017. Last year, not as good, but still, I mean, decent, and
Of course.
working on a lot of things, and I feel like it's going to be a good one. So, a good one this year. Tour, like I said, it's tough, but I mean, you just got to keep going, and a lot of guys are peaking when they're, I think, 28, 29, 30, and so for the most part, that's when you see guys really breaking through. It takes a while to get everything down, and it comes down to kind of knowing yourself as a player, knowing what helps you kind of fix little things in matches and quickly without having to go at it for a set and a half. And I think that's the main thing, is to really know yourself as a player, what works for you, what doesn't. And sometimes it can be a little difficult to get that, especially with a lot of different opinions kind of coming in from everywhere.
When you have this kind of like, you play at a high level, you obviously junior Grand Slam winner, and doing like being in the limelight at such a young age, and then you start to play challenger tours. Do you think like people in these kind of tournaments have a certain mindset when they go in, like the towels, ball boys, like there's a whole nother like...
Yeah, I mean, I was always pretty excited to go into challengers. Even from juniors, I still saw it as a pretty big thing. Futures obviously are different, but you still got to go out and win, and it's always nice to go out and get some results, see your ranking go up. And so I was always pumped for all of those events, and I never kind of saw it as a hassle to go back down from the slams down to those events. But there's always certain guys that have certain routines, certain tendencies. Like you said, there's certain things that you have to look out for at challengers that you may not have. Little things that, like you said, the towels, the laundry, the service. Obviously, like how they treat you at slams is unbelievable. They have everything you could possibly need there, but for the most part, I think challengers, they do a good job. There's always something that might be missing, but you can't expect an event that makes a few $100 million to be the same as an event that's trying to break even, like a challenger might be. So, I mean, just depends what kind of expectations you go in with. I mean, just have to work your way up to the big events and earn your place at the tournaments that have literally everything you possibly could need. So it's not the worst thing. Like, as long as you go out and you do your work and get wins, that's what matters, I think.
Is there anything that people don't know about the tour? Is there a story that you have? I'm sorry to put you on the spot,
that's fine.
But there's like a story that people might not necessarily know about when it comes to facing like what it's like to be on tour, either you personally or in general.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to think of a specific story off the top of my head, but obviously a lot of people think that because what they see at the challenger, at the Grand Slam level and the top level, they see it as a glamorous life, and obviously unless you're 150, 100 in the world, you're not really making money.
Yeah.
I mean, even like 200, 250, and just breaking even or making a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
So that's the thing. It's just a lot of work and a very small threshold for the amount of people that make it and can make a really good living out of it. And I kind of went over it in my head a while ago, and if you're, for someone like a Canadian, for example, an example that would be easy to follow is hockey, obviously. So I was looking at it as someone top 300 would be top two lines on an NHL team making millions of dollars. I mean, if you're top two lines on an NHL team, you're making tons and you're a really good player. So there's some people that don't realize how good the level is where we are, and then some people that think it's glamorous. So obviously that's kind of the misconception about the tour, because it's not something that's out in the open all the time. They don't broadcast it. There's not a lot of exposure unless you're top, you know?
That's what I'm trying to do, at least for you guys.
I appreciate that.
No problem.
No, so it's all these guys are out there and playing well, and there's a lot of guys at this level that end up making it big, whether immediately after kind of coming up through this, or they might take a few years. And I mean, an example that I find is pretty interesting is Filip Peliwo, former number one junior, struggled for a while, was like 100s, 200s, and then just kind of broke through, made final of Paris Bercy, and now he's top 30, top 40. Great player, like always kind of was that kind of guy where people were thinking he didn't really reach his potential, but sometimes it just takes a while. And so, I mean, it's a tough game.
Yeah, and I think two more questions.
Yeah, no worries.
One, if you forget about the money, the travel, is there anything you personally struggle with being on tour as a professional athlete?
I mean, I wouldn't want to say struggle, but you always have to go and do kind of your own laundry. Not all challengers have that. Little things like that. Sometimes transport, all that. The main thing is the money, obviously, but you have to kind of book your own, you manage your own business, basically. Like, you run everything. It's not like a team sport where everything's taken care of. So that's the main thing. Until you're really up there and you maybe have agents and managers to do it all for you, you're basically running every single thing,
so
all the logistics, everything. So flights, hotels.
You travel by yourself?
Yeah, I mean, I pay for my travel by myself and all of that. I tend to travel with Braden Schnurr and our coach, Fred Niemeyer, who's with us with the Federation, which is pretty good, actually. We're lucky to have him. And that makes it a lot better. Obviously, like, the tour can get lonely, especially if you're not doing particularly well a few weeks. It helps to have people around that can kind of lift your spirits and keep you motivated and going hard. I mean, there's always people around the tour at the tournaments, but it's different if you're actually traveling with them and seeing them every day. And so,
do you get lonely at all?
Yeah, I mean, everyone does. There's always those days where, like, you feel like it would be nice to see your friends and your family and everybody. So it's the life I love. I love tennis. It's always something I wanted to do, and I'm lucky enough to be able to do it, and hopefully keep rising in the rankings. But I mean, as with anything, there's pros and cons, but I mean, I wouldn't give it up for the world. It's what I want to do.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, no worries. No problem at all.
court. Can't really talk that loud. But thank you to Filip for doing the interview with me. It's really cool to meet someone like him and talk about what's going on tour, especially what's going on personally with him and the comparisons he makes to other pros on tour as well. It's really fun. And we're kind of just hanging out right now. JJ Wolf just upset Jason Jung, who's the #1 seed, and JJ's a young kid from Ohio State, very talented guy, very talented. He's definitely a guy to look out for. He won the Columbus Challenger as well. So seeing him in person, seeing what he's capable of is insane. So we're going to continue on with today's vlog. Not sure what other content, what other stuff we're going to be filming today. Probably just some more stuff for Instagram and socials. But we're going to try to keep up to date with whatever's going on. We got a lot more doubles today. So let's get back into it. For wondering what players do in their off time. Look at Liam. Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. He's got his foot up, no care in the world. Just relaxing. Daniel. For those who do not know who Daniel is, Daniel's basically the guy that everyone goes to with problems. Am I wrong?
I'm the guy running on fumes right now.
He does the bus, he does the volunteers and ball kids, he does the press pass too. Not the press pass, the credentialing.
I'm the press aid.
Press aid.
I got the bleachers and
bleachers.
And chairs. Helps plan the food.
Oh, good. Did you at least get food?
At one point I had food today.
Once. But yeah, Daniel's been running his ass off. And then how many cups of coffee is that?
8.
Today? Oh my God.
It's like 7 a.m.
Okay. So yeah, you should be thanking Daniel for this well pulled off tournament.
And Cracker Rackets is still running very minimally right now. Like 3 articles.
Go to Tweener Head Tennis instead. It's called being a part of the experience, Noah. He's not very amused with my sense of humor.
We did a lot today. Thank you to Filip for talking to us about his experience. The 25-year-old Canadian actually sat down and talked to us about what it's like, for him at least, and I like this comparison, what it's like to be versus like his comparison of being an NHL hockey player and him being a tennis player, in terms of being like mid-range and talent depending on the league. And I think it's a very good comparison, how you can be above average and still be paid millions of dollars in the NHL, and you're above average in tennis. Well, everyone's good, but you're not top 100, and you're scraping the barrel for money everywhere, and you're just trying to play your heart out every match. And I really do appreciate that. Tomorrow we will be interviewing the college coach for Cleveland State, Brian Etzen. So I'm excited for you guys to listen to that. I want to, hopefully I'll be able to talk to him about what it's like to coach D1, and I want to ask him some questions that might be able to help me coach my school, and I hope that can go well. Let's keep the ball rolling with this kind of stuff. I hope you guys are enjoying this kind of content. If you are enjoying more of this, make sure to hit that subscribe button with notifications turned on so you miss any behind the scenes stuff, as well as our journey at the Cleveland Challenger. If you want to follow us on all our social medias, check out our Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Make sure to check out all those, as well as our website at tweenerheadtennis.com for cool merchandise, as well as behind the scenes articles. Now, I hope you guys are having a great day. I hope to see you tomorrow. Thanks, guys.